Yeah. Oh, hi everybody. I hope you can hear us. This is our first one, and I'm having a little bit of trouble. I'm Noah Weeder. With me is Jeremy Cammey. I want to make sure he's in the picture. You're gonna have to bear with us a second while I figure out this YouTube live. This is our first live broadcast, and welcome to ATM Depot. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be talking to Jeremy Cammey and myself about how to manage cash flow, keep your ATM loaded while not having excessive funds, deposit delays, holidays, settlement funds, managing cash alerts, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So right now I'm going to introduce Jeremy. He's got a couple of topics, and I'm going to be messing with the controls a little bit to make sure everybody can see and hear us.
Hey guys, I'm Jeremy. You know, a lot of you may or may not know that there's some really cool features available to you on ATM Portal. It gives you the ability to set up alerts, and you can view your cash balance on the machine. You can also set up your different thresholds for the alerts so that when the machines are getting low on cash, you can set up an email or text message at just about any amount of cash left in the machine that you'd like to be alerted on. I'd say the common thresholds are usually 500 and 1,000, depending on how far you are away from the location, how busy they are. You know, if you're a little further away, you may want to be alerted another day or two in advance, so maybe you'd set your threshold a little bit higher. Some of the other options are you can go with a lower threshold of $500. You know, if you'd like to know the day of and if the location's pretty close by, and you can just jump right out and head on over there.
And we also wanted to talk a little bit about how much cash people are putting in the machines and whether or not there's security on the site, and if you're leaving cash in overnight, if you we offer insurance now, so you can actually get insurance through us for as little as $12 a month, which will cover what is the coverage again on that, Jeremy?
I think it's $2,500 in equipment, and I think about $2,000 in cash.
Yeah, I think those numbers might be reversed, but we can get back to you on that. If you're interested in getting insurance for $12 a month, we get it on most of our machines, unless we know there's somebody there 24 hours a day. It's pretty inexpensive, and we don't leave that much cash in the machine. So, and Jeremy, we use low cash, the cash alerts extensively. You want to go into how to set those up? I don't know if you're on camera or not. So, and I'm sorry if we're getting cut off here because I can't see us on the camera.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Setting up the alerts is pretty easy. If you don't have access to the cash management menus on your ATM Portal account, then certainly send me an email or give me a call, and I'll make sure that you do have the proper access. But basically what you would do is you'd go into that cash management menu, you would select Edit, and you would put in your threshold amounts and your contact email or text message address. Your text address is going to be in the form of an email, so it's really your cell phone number at, let's say if you're using Verizon, for example, it would be at vz.com, and all the other providers actually have a different suffix to go along with that email address. So depending on who your carrier is would determine the different suffix for their email, so that way you can have a text message sent directly to your phone. Email is also another option too for setting that up. But again, that's under the cash management menu, and if you don't have access, certainly let me know.
And I'm sorry if you're seeing my screen. For some reason, I don't think my camera's on. I think it's broadcasting the actual reverse image, which that's a technical difficulty, and I am trying to figure out. So we'll keep going here as Jeremy's talking. What's the next topic we want to talk about?
The next one is how to manage your cash effectively in the machine without keeping too much in there, without keeping too little in there. You certainly, it's a balancing act. You want to make sure that you've got enough cash in the machine to last you a couple of days or a week. But you also don't want to have too much cash in the machine where it's a security issue and you're tying up a lot of funds. But you do want to make sure that you're not heading out there every week or every day to go and load your machine with cash. Every day, especially, it's becomes a little bit costly for gas and your time and stuff like that. So you definitely want to see how well the machine's doing, how much cash it's going through each week and each month, and come up with a strategy.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, folks, but I have figured out that for some reason it's not broadcasting our image, it's broadcasting my desktop, and I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty getting my camera to show us versus the screen. So we'll keep going, and I apologize for this issue.
I always think it's a good idea to have some extra funds around at home. We came into a difficult weekend on Columbus Day when it caught us by surprise, and we were out of cash on one of our machines, and unfortunately my bank was closed. So it put me in a little bit of a bind, especially when your customer is calling to tell you that your machine is out of money, and that's never a good thing. So I suggest you keep an extra $1,000 at home just in case you're out of funds and you desperately need them and it's on an off hour or an off day. Another good idea is on a banking holiday, you can ask your bank to increase your withdrawal limit. And I think it's a good idea to have a withdrawal limit anywhere from $800 to $1,000, and your bank will probably will allow you to do that, especially if you tell them you're in the ATM business.
Yeah, and one of the things we noticed that with some banks, we've gone through several different banks: Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and I think there was one other, but we landed at US Bank. They seem to be the friendliest when you're loading a lot of machines.
You just want to make sure if you do get a bank card with a high limit, you keep that card in a really safe place, and you certainly want to hide your PIN number because you do have the liability of having more funds stolen from you if your card and your PIN number get into the wrong hands. So make sure you keep your card safe.
All great advice, Jeremy. Thanks. And I really do apologize for technical difficulty. We want to talk a little bit about settlement funds, and did you cover holidays?
A little bit.
A little bit. So settlement funds for us, I think it's noon. Is it noon Pacific time or 3?
1 o'clock Pacific time.
Okay, it's changed. So 1 o'clock Pacific time. Why don't you talk a little bit about transactions before 1 o'clock and the settlement day, and a little bit of the settlement functions, and that you don't need a day close or because of the automatic, and you don't want to push it further out.
Sure. So what's cool is that we automatically will close out. Our processor will automatically do a closeout on your settlement funds daily for you. So at 1 o'clock Pacific or 4 o'clock Eastern every day is when the day will start or end. So your settlement date ranges from 4 o'clock Eastern yesterday until 4 o'clock Eastern today. Those funds taken out of the machine are deposited back into your account tomorrow. So that's done for you automatically. Sometimes if you want the funds to settle at a certain time, you can do the settlement date yourself, and you can actually set the settlement date at any time you want by doing a day close on the machine. You do have to be at the terminal level to do a day close, and if you want to change the settlement date, that's where you would have to initiate that process. You do want to be careful that if you're not intending to do a day close, that you don't hit that day close button by accident, because what that will do is push back your settlement cash by 24 hours, because it will push back your closing date that we would automatically do for you.
Exactly. So there's just a few other topics, but I'd like to get I'd like to fix the issue where the technical difficulty we're having where you're seeing so many screens. So do you want to just talk real quick about the matching up settlement ATM portal a little bit?
Sure. There is a really helpful way of matching up your settlement deposits that go into your account. There's a great report on ATM Portal. It's a daily terminal activity report. You could run it for the month, and it will show you exactly how much cash was settled from the machine into your bank account. So if you do want to match up your deposits, it's a very helpful tool, because you could run that report and you could match it up, and you'll see the same amounts that were taken out of the machine and settled by ATM Portal are going to be the same totals that were deposited into your bank account.
So that's a very handy way to keep your account balanced, especially if you're having a manager or somebody else load the machine for you. It's definitely helpful and beneficial. So again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. We're going to wrap this up today. I just wanted to do an introductory, our first in a series. We're going to try and do this at least a couple of times a month, and I promise to fix the technical difficulties so that you'll be able to see us. Why don't you join us in hopefully next week? We're going to start talking a little bit about the EMV, which is the European MasterCard requirements that are coming to the US for ATM machines. Right now, all the machines that we sell we're offering EMV, and we hope that if you purchase a new machine, you're going to get it EMV ready to avoid the field upgrade in the future. But we'll talk about that next week. Keep an eye out for the invitation and the email for the date and time. Again, I'm Noah Weeder. This is Jeremy Cammey. We're with ATM Depot, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.